Oh, that's a new little message. Good morning, everyone. Let's get started on our backs today. So lie down, bring the soles of the feet to the outer edges of the mat and let the knees fall together. So as long as the knees touch and the feet are wide, that's where we want to be. Arms out by the sides, close the eyes, take a moment to settle in, start to transition out of the morning and into your practice, coming to your breath. Starting to deepen and lengthen the inhales and exhales. Making that ocean wave-like sound up and down the back of the throat. And if the eyes are closed, start to blink them open, reach the arms overhead, stretching out through the fingertips. And then clasp opposite elbows. You can let the arms just relax. If they don't easily touch the mat, that's fine. And switch the clasp, other forearm on top. Then interlace the fingers back behind the head, lay back onto the hands, heel toe the feet to hip width distance, and then lift the knees so that they're over the hips. Squeeze those thighs together and squeeze the inner knees together. You can even flex the feet if you want to and spread the toes if that helps keep the legs engaged. And then keeping the knees and the thighs squeezing together, open up the feet. So bring them as wide as you can. It won't be that far, but just keep squeezing the thighs and the knees together, opening up the feet, flexing out through the feet. Keep the legs like this. Look up, take an inhale. Exhale, lift up. So you're taking a crunch with the legs like this. Inhale back. Exhale up. Inhale back. Exhaling straight up. Look up. Inhale back. Exhale up. Keep squeezing the legs. Don't forget about them as you go back and forth, staying with your own breath. And if you feel like interlacing the fingers is a little too much, you can always just grab the head with the fingertips just above the ears. And that kind of changes the way that the body works with this. So see which one you feel like you can really let go of the head and the neck. And stick with that. And if you were focusing too much on that and the feet started coming back together, keep them apart. Next time you come up, stay up. See if you can go up a little bit higher. Bring the feet back together, set them down onto the mat, set the head down onto the mat, and then stretch the arms overhead, stretch the legs out in front of you. Maybe wiggle the fingers and the toes to see if you can wiggle them farther away from one another. Hug the right knee in toward the chest. Flex both feet. Well, flex the left foot like you're standing on it. So like you're pressing the heel away from you, and then start to take ankle rolls with that right foot. Just go in one direction and then take it the other way. And switch sides. Left knee comes in toward the chest. Lengthen that right leg. Bring that thigh down toward the mat and then take ankle rolls with the left foot. Switch directions, go the other way. Hug both knees in toward the chest. Rock up. Let's take some extra rocks. If it doesn't feel good, just skip it and come to seated. But if it feels good, see how much space you can cover with the spine on the mat as you rock up. And then make this the last one. And you'll roll forward to hands and knees, making your way to tabletop. From tabletop, few cat-cow breaths. When you're ready, inhale the heart forward. Exhale, round chin to chest. Keep going on your own pace, your own rhythm. Last round. Back to neutral. Step the left foot back behind you. You could kick this right foot out to the side as you bring the left foot down to the mat. So you're coming into a modified side plank. If you're looking for more of a challenge, the right toes could point toward the arch of the back foot, but we're just starting out. So maybe you kick the right foot out to the side. Right hand can come out to the side. Left arm reaches up. Then see if you can press down into that left foot. So the leg that's extended, and then reach up with the left arm. Breathe. If you want a little bit more of length, reach that left arm up and over the ear. Keep pressing down into that left leg. Left hand comes back down to the mat. Left knee comes down to the mat. Right toes go back behind you. Spin that right foot down flat. Kick out that left shin a little bit. Reach the right arm up. Press down into the right sole of the foot. Reach up with the right arm. And if that left shoulder is going up toward the ear, you want to roll it down the back a little bit. If you did it on the first side, reach the right arm up and over. Keep pressing down into that right leg. Right hand to the mat, come back to tabletop. Once you get to tabletop, bring the forearms down to the mat. Let's keep the hips over the knees. Walk the elbows forward ahead of the shoulders. Forehead comes down to the mat. And lift the head, look forward, slide forward onto your stomach, coming into Sphinx pose. Adjust yourself on your mat if you went way ahead of it like I did. Tops of the feet to the mat, hug the belly in, open up across the chest. Get that length in the back of the neck as you open up across the shoulders. Left forearm comes in. Reach back with the right arm, grab the right foot. And you can let the head rest. If you want more of a back bend, you can lift yourself up a little bit. I really just want you to open up the quad more than anything else. If that right knee is going out to the side, make sure you bring it in and point it straight back. Gently release the right foot, right forearm to the mat, reach back for the left foot, bring that in. Release the left foot, hands by the lower ribs. Come up for cobra. Hug those outer elbows in, point them straight back. Keep some energy in the legs as you press down into the tops of the feet. And then exhale, release. Two more. Inhale up, cobra. Exhale, release. Let that go. Next inhale brings you up to cobra, Bhujangasana. Exhale, release. Hands and knees, tabletop. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. First downward facing dog will be here for enough time for you to explore, move around, whatever your ritual is. Or maybe you're changing it up and stillness feels good. And then lift the right leg up and back. Step that right foot forward, up between the hands. Set the back knee down, coming into a low lunge. Left hand underneath the left shoulder. Reach the right arm up to the sky, coming into a twist. Right hand to right hip. Keep opening up across the chest. Stay here, or maybe you might need to shift that left knee way back as far as you can. You'll tuck the toes, shift it back, untuck the toes. Maybe you play with bringing that left foot in, reaching back and grabbing for the foot. If it's not happening right now, don't worry about it. Just keep the right hand on the right hip. You're still getting a nice opening. Gently release the foot if you have it. Bring the right hand down to the mat. Tuck the back toes, extend the back leg. Step back to downward facing dog. Left leg lifts up and back. Step the left foot forward, up between the hands. Set the back knee down. Left arm reaches up for that twist. Left hand, left hip. Open up across the chest. Tuck those back toes. See if you can shift the right knee back a little farther. Then untuck the toes. Stay here or play with bringing that foot in. Maybe you reach back and you grab the foot. Gently let that foot go. Left hand to the mat. Tuck the back toes, extend the back leg. Step back to downward facing dog. Let's take baby steps forward to the top of the mat. So as many steps as you can. See if you can keep the legs straight as long as possible. Maybe you're able to get all the way to a forward fold. The hands might have to lift up a little bit or a lot. And then coming into your forward fold, let the head and the neck go. Clasp opposite elbows, feet hip width. Maybe you sway side to side a little bit. Try to get the heels a little lighter. Switch the clasp, other forearm in front. Hands to the mat. Inhale up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold forward Uttanasana. 2 more of those. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Coming all the way up. Inhale, reach the arms wide to the side, all the way up. Bring the palms together at the very top. And cactus the arms on the exhale. Bring those elbows back behind you and down toward the waist. Keep the legs strong, chest open. Then interlace the fingers behind the back. Still standing tall, chest nice and open. If you're able to lock the elbows, put a little bit of a bend. And what helps is bringing the heels of the hands together. Lengthen the tailbone, stand a little taller. Then start to bend the knees, fold forward, keeping the fingers interlaced. Maybe the legs get straighter, but they don't have to in this forward fold if you feel like the backs of the legs need more time to open. Hands come down to the mat. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, plant the hands, step back to plank pose. Knees, chest, chin, hips are high. Come down to the mat. Slide forward onto your stomach, tops of the feet come down, cobra. Exhale, release, downward facing dog, either plank or hands and knees to get there. Bend the knees, look forward, step the feet forward up between the hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. Bring the palms together overhead. Cactus the arms on the exhale. Open up across the chest. Then look forward. Interlace the fingers the other way. Stand tall. Open up. Start to put a bend in the knees. Fold over the legs. Knuckles to the sky or back behind the head. Maybe straighter legs. Hands come down to the mat. Inhaling up halfway. Exhale, hands down, back to plank pose. Knees, chest, chin again. Take your time with it. Elbows hug in. Glide forward to cobra. Maybe a little higher this time. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look forward, step, lightly hop the feet forward. Inhale up halfway, exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up, palms together overhead. On the exhale, cactus the arms, open up across the chest. Then interlace the fingers behind the back, stand tall to start. Then put a bend in the knees, fold over the legs. Hands to the mat. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands down, back to plank pose. Knees, chest, chin. Keep the hips high, elbows graze the sides of the ribs. Glide forward, cobra. Exhale, release to down dog. Right knee comes down onto the mat. So bring the right knee down onto the mat. Spin that left heel down flat. Right hand can come outside of the shoulder a little bit. Lift the left arm up. So back to modified side plank. Root down through that left foot, left leg. So much that maybe you can hover the right knee away from the mat. If that's happening, extend it forward. You're in revolve triangle. So that right outer edge of the foot's on the mat. You're lifting the hips up. Left hand comes down to the mat. Right knee comes back down to the mat, right where you started. Left foot comes out to the left. Toes point forward. Setting up for gate pose. Walk the hands in, up to the hips. You're standing on the right knee, left leg's out to the side, toes point forward. Right arm reaches up. Left arm goes down the left leg. Reach up and over with the right arm for your gate pose, Parigasana. Come back to center, hands to the hips to fold forward, then bring the hands down in front of you like plank. Step that left foot back like plank, right knee to the nose, scoop the belly around the spine. Step that right foot forward, left heel down flat, warrior two. Let the legs anchor down into the mat, lift up across the chest, lengthen the sides of the waist. Then straighten the front leg, take triangle, reach forward, bring that right arm down, left arm up. Back to warrior two. Hands come down to the mat. Step back to plank pose, downward facing dog. Left knee comes down to the mat. Right foot spins down flat. Left hand can come out to the left a little bit, reach the right arm up, back to modified side plank. So you know where we're headed. Root down through that right leg so the whole sole of the foot's pressing down. Hug the belly in, reach up with that right arm. Maybe you start to hover the left knee away from the mat. Extend the left leg out in front of you. Press down into the outer edge of the left foot. Lift the hips up. Root down through that right leg. Right hand down to the mat. Left knee back down to the mat. Right foot out to the right, toes point forward. Take your time, walk the hands up toward the waist, the hips, come up to standing on the left knee. Right arm down the leg, left arm up and over. Find that side stretch. Trying to keep the left hip over the left knee. Keep opening the chest forward. Come back to center, hands on the waist, fold forward, hands down to the mat like plank. Step that right foot back like plank, left knee to nose. Left foot steps forward, warrior two. So lengthening the tailbone helps you from sticking the butt out behind you. It'll also help you lift the lower belly a little bit more, and maybe you'll get more length coming up through the sternum. Keep that, straighten the front leg, triangle pose. Warrior two. Hands to the mat, back to plank pose, knees, chest, chin, down to the mat. Hips high, glide forward, cobra. As you start to open, those back bends can get deeper as long as you can preserve the length in the lower back. Then exhale, release, down dog, plank, hands and knees. You choose how you want to get there. Bend the knees, look forward, feet forward. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Chair pose, bend the knees, reaching the arms up. All the way up to standing, hands come together, down in front of the heart. Sit back, chair pose. Bring the weight into the heels. Make sure all sides of the thighs are fired up. Hug the core in. Open up across the chest as you reach up. Slowly start to bring the hips down toward the mat. You're coming to seated eventually. Try not to use the hands. Maybe you hover in a squat for just a moment. And then reach the arms forward, boat pose. Legs can be bent, legs can be straight. Chest is up no matter what. Then hover down, Ardha Navasana. And then come down to the mat like you're lying down on the mat. So bring the hands underneath you, the palms face down, underneath the hips. Find a comfortable position. Sometimes a triangle shape is kind of nice underneath you. Extend the legs out, those elbows come in, and then you lift up, look forward, and we're taking flutter kicks. So point the toes, hug the belly in, keep the legs strong, chest wide, don't let it cave in. You can look forward, you can look up, but it's a really small movement with the legs, and you're breathing wherever you are. And then slowly start to let that go. Walk the feet in, lift the hips up. Grab the knees, and you're going to start to take some rocks. We're coming back to chair pose with or without the hands, whenever you're ready. Woo. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands down to the mat. Step back to plank pose. Knees, chest, chin, down to the ground. Glide forward, cobra. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Right knee to the mat. Left foot down, modified side plank. Take your time getting it set up. This is your foundation. Root down through that left leg, hover the right knee away from the mat, extend the right leg out in front of you. You can rest the right foot on the mat or on the ground in front of you, or maybe you lift that right leg up. Definitely harder. Left hand down to the mat, right knee down to the mat. Left foot comes out to the side, toes point forward, walk the hands up to the hips, come to standing on this right knee. Reach the right arm up and over, sliding the left hand down the leg. Bring the hands back to the hips, fold forward, hands down like plank pose. Step that left foot back like plank, right knee to the nose. Right foot steps forward, spin the left heel down flat, warrior two. Straighten the front leg. You could shorten the stance if you want to for triangle. Just decide before you get into it. It's all about stability, the length of the stance. Look down at the right foot. Half moon. Bend the right knee. Reach forward with those right fingertips, maybe on a block if you want. Shift the weight forward. Lift that left leg up. Ardha Chandrasana. So if you feel like the lifted leg, the left leg is way back behind you, move it out to the left a little bit. Right hip's right underneath you. It wants to go to the right. Open up across the chest. See if you can get lighter in the bottom hand. Maybe you just come up to one fingertip. Maybe you hover it. You're coming back to warrior two. Bend the standing leg, reach back with that left foot. Beautiful landing. Windmill the hands down to the mat, step straight back, downward facing dog. Left knee to the mat. Right heel down flat, modified side plank. Press down into that right leg. Hover the left knee away from the mat. Extend the left leg out in front of you, either down on the ground or maybe you lift it up. Right hand comes down to the mat, left knee back down to the mat, right foot out to the right. Keep that leg straight. Walk the hands in until you can bring the hands up to the hips. Left arm reaches up and over to the right. And you get that nice side stretch on the obliques that you just used to lift the leg. Bring the hands back to the waist, fold forward halfway, hands down like plank, step that right foot back like plank, left knee to the nose, step the left foot through, warrior two. Triangle. You know where we're headed. If you want to shorten the stance, that's fine. Reach the left arm forward, bring it down, right arm up, Trikonasana. Look down at the left foot, bend the left leg, reach forward about a foot ahead of the left pinky toe, start to shift the weight forward and lift up to half moon. Pressing out through both heels, hugging the core in, opening the chest to the right. Maybe you get lighter in the left hand, coming up onto just a couple of fingertips, maybe one. Maybe you start to lift the left hand away from the ground. Warrior two, bend the standing leg, go slow, reach back with the right foot. Really nice. Hands windmill down to the mat. Step back to plank pose, knees, chest, chin. Keep those elbows hugging in. Glide forward, cobra. Exhale, release, down dog. Bend the knees, look forward, bring the feet forward. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Chair pose. All the way up to standing, hands come together, down in front of the heart. Inhale, sit back, Utkatasana chair. Stay in this chair. Keep those legs engaged, core engaged. Slowly start to bring the hips down toward the mat. Maybe hover in a squat with the toes forward. Coming to Navasana. Hover down, Ardha Navasana. Let it all go, splat on the mat. Walk the feet in, bring the hands underneath you, palms down onto the mat, extend the legs out in front of you. And then lift the chest up, hover the feet, point the toes, flutter kicks. So not a big range of motion with the feet. Legs are definitely engaged, and you should feel that core working. Follow the breath. And let it all go. Walk the feet in, lift up the hips, hug the knees in, take some rocks, maybe like 4 or 5. Build up some momentum and see if you can come back to chair pose without using the hands or barely using them. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Hands down, back to plank pose. Knees, chest, chin. Keep the hips high. Glide forward, cobra. Exhale, release, down dog. Right knee down to the mat. Left foot spins down, modified side plank. Root down through the left leg, hover the right knee, extend the right leg forward. Maybe you play with lifting it higher. Left hand down, right knee down. Left foot comes out to the side for gate pose. Walk the hands up to the hips. Reach the right arm up and over to the left. Hands back to the hips. Start to fold forward. Bring the hands down to the mat like plank. Step the left foot back, right knee to nose. Right foot steps forward, warrior 2. Straighten the left leg, triangle. Oh, straighten the right leg. Sorry, Marlene. Look down at the right foot, half moon. Here, if you want to play with grabbing the left foot for Chapasana, that's an option, especially if the stuff we did at the beginning was working. Maybe you lift the chest, maybe you hover the fingertips a little bit, bend that left leg, see if the foot's there. Keep the length in the front body. Foot presses into the hand, hand back into the foot if you have it. Gently release if you have Chapasana. We'll start to make our way back slowly with strength, warrior 2. Hands come down to the mat, step straight back, downward facing dog. Left knee comes down to the mat. Right heel spins down flat, modified side plank. Root down through the right leg, hover the left knee, extend that left leg forward. Maybe you lift it up. Right hand down to the mat, left knee down to the mat. Right foot out to the side, toes point forward, hands up to the hips, come up to standing, left arm up and over, Parigasana. Hands to the hips, fold forward halfway, bring the hands down in front of you like plank, step that right foot back, left knee to nose, step the left foot through, warrior two. Straighten the front leg, make your way to Trikonasana. Look down at the left foot, transition to half moon, take your time, follow all the steps to get there, reach that right leg up. Maybe start to lift the chest up a little bit, coming high up onto those fingertips, bend the right leg, grab the foot if it's there, press the foot into the hand back into the foot, Chapasana. Come back to half moon if you took that variation. Slowly back to Vira 2. Take your time. Know where you are in space. Hands come down to the mat. Step back to plank pose. Knees, chest, chin. Glide forward to cobra. Stick with cobra. If you want up dog, it's like you're trying to slide the hands back behind you to lift up. Down dog. Bend the knees, look forward, bring the feet forward. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Chair pose on the inhale. All the way up to standing, hands come together down in front of the heart. So we'll play with that flow one last time, maybe at a bit quicker of a pace, but you go however you want. Inhale, sit back, chair pose. Start to make your way down to the mat. Nice and slow, coming into Navasana. Ardha Navasana. Let it all go. Lie on the mat, walk the feet in, hands underneath the hips, flutter kicks. Stretch the legs forward, lift the chest, slow and controlled. Not too much range of motion. Chest nice and open. And release. Move the hands out from underneath you, walk the feet in, rock up. Build up however many times you need to rock to come back to chair pose with or without the hands. It's a lot of core. Good. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Hands down, back to plank pose, knees, chest, chin. Cobra. Back to down dog. Right knee down onto the mat, modified side plank. Hover the right knee, extend that right leg forward. Left hand down to the mat, right knee down to the mat. Left foot steps forward to the side. Bring the hands up to the waist. Reach that right arm up and over. Left hand down the leg. Hands come back to the hips. Fold forward halfway. Bring the hands down in front of you. Step the left toes back, knee to nose. Right foot forward, warrior two. Triangle. Half moon, don't rush. Maybe Chapasana. Back to half moon. Warrior two. Hands to the mat, downward facing dog, straight there. Left knee to the mat. Right heel spins down flat, modified side plank. Hover the left knee, lift that left leg straight forward. Right hand down to the mat, set that left knee back down to the mat, right foot out to the side, hands to the hips, rise up. Left arm up, right arm down the right leg, lean up and over. Hands come back to the hips, fold forward, hands to the mat like plank. Step that right foot back, knee to nose with the left knee. Step the left foot through, warrior two. Straighten the front leg, come into triangle pose. Looking down at the left foot, make your way to Ardha Chandrasana. Bend the left leg, step forward. Maybe Chapasana. Back to half moon. Warrior two. Hands come down to the mat. Step back to plank pose. Knees, chest, chin down to the mat. Cobra. Maybe up dog. Down dog. Knees down to the mat, child's pose, balasana. Bring the forehead down, probably arms back behind you, but I'll leave that up to you. And just let that part of the practice settle in, work its way through the body. Start to bring the hands underneath you. Make your way back up to tabletop, all fours. Bring the forearms down to the mat. Same thing we did before, puppy dog. So walk the elbows ahead of the shoulders. Bring the forehead down to the mat. Maybe you're fine like this, or if you want to take it a little deeper, hands together like prayer and back behind the head. Here's where you can start to walk the elbows more forward. Make sure you hug the belly in a little bit just to protect the lower back so there's no sway there. And then if you have the hands back behind the head, bring the hands back down, forearms down, lift the head up, glide forward to Sphinx pose. So you'll need to step the feet back, bring the hips down, open up across the chest. Then come all the way down, lying on your stomach, but bring the arms alongside the body. So palms are facing one another, feet hip width distance apart, lift up Shambhasana. So feet lift away from the mat, chest opens up wide. It's like you're holding that beach ball between the hands. Hug the belly in so it's not pressing down into the mat. Breathe. And then set the feet down, make a pillow with the hands, rest the head down onto the hands. And then bend the legs, move the feet side to side. And then bring the feet back to center, flexing the feet, reaching back, see if you can grab the ankles or the feet. You grab the feet, then just point the toes. If you have the ankles, you can flex the feet. So coming into Dhanurasana, lengthen the lower back, reach the heart forward, start to look forward, start to lift the thighs up away from the mat, press the ankles into the feet back into the ankles. Oh, the hands back into the ankles. So you have that engagement. See if you can continue to lift up. Maybe you rock a little bit. Breathe. Try not to let the knees splay out. Slowly set the thighs back down onto the mat, release the feet, bring the head back down onto the hands. You can bend the legs, feet side to side. Set the feet back down onto the mat, come back to Sphinx pose, forearms underneath you, lifting the chest. just so you can bring this left hand underneath you. So behind the right arm, you'll cut, right knee comes out to the side. You're coming into a twist. Right arm reaches up and all the way back. And you can cactus the right arm. You can extend the right arm. See which one feels better. Right hand comes back down to the mat. Straighten the right leg back behind you. Come back to Sphinx pose. Setting up for the other side. This time, right arm comes down underneath you. Bend the left leg. Reach that left arm up and over, back behind you, coming into your spinal twist on the other side. Bring the left arm back over toward the right. Straighten the left leg back behind you. Come back to Sphinx pose. And then let yourself go. Lie flat on the stomach. You can make a pillow with the hands. Tuck the toes underneath you. Bring the hands back by the lower ribs. Shift back onto hands and knees, just coming into tabletop. And you'll sit onto one hip, bringing the legs out in front of you. Let's do a hip opening. I'll give you an option. So you can come onto your back and do thread the needle. If single pigeon's calling you, you could come through downward facing dog and take single pigeon. That might be nice, but you choose. So thread the needle, lying on your back, right ankle, left thigh, come into it that way, or single pigeon, take downward facing dog, lift the right leg up and back and bring that right shin forward. Left leg goes back. And then you'll just start to fold forward however much the body's allowing that to happen. Use props if you have them and you find them useful underneath that lifted hip if you're in single pigeon, or maybe underneath the head or the chest. Slowly start to make your way out of whichever hip opening you tried or came into. I'm sure it was successful. Maybe back to downward facing dog or just lying on your back. Switch sides. Using the left leg now. Single pigeon, bring that forward. Thread the needle, cross it over the top of the right thigh. Slowly start to bring yourself back up. If you're in single pigeon, come back to downward facing dog and then make your way to seated. If you're in, if you did thread the needle and you want to stay on your back, you're welcome to. I'll show you what to do. You'll just bring the legs up and flex the feet. If you're seated from single pigeon, extend the legs out in front of you and take a seated forward fold. So choose whichever one feels better. Reach the arms up, fold over the legs. And slowly come back up to seated. If you're in a seated forward fold, make your way onto your back, scoot the hips forward so that when you lie down, you're still on the mat. And let's all take a happy baby to close. So bring the knees in, open up the legs, reach through the insides of the legs, grab the outer edges of the feet. Hips down on the mat. You can keep the legs bent if you feel open enough and you want to extend the legs and straighten them. That's also an option, only if it's calling to you. Bring the knees back in toward the chest. Curl up in a tight little ball. Close the eyes. Give yourself a tight hug. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, Shavasana. Extend the legs out in front of you, arms down by the side. If you'd rather come into a seated meditation, that's also an option. Either way, get yourself set up for stillness, letting go of any fidgeting, any effort, any holding of the body. Even the breath control, let that go. Here for a couple of minutes, allowing us an opportunity to reset our nervous system and taking a break. Slowly begin to deepen the breath. Find some small movements in the body. Starting to make your way back into your space. And when you're ready, reach the arms overhead, waking up again. And make your way onto your right side. Cradle the head and the arm. Keep the eyes closed if you can. Maybe deepening the breath here. And using the hands to bring yourself up to an easy cross-legged seat, sitting up nice and tall. Bring the hands together in front of you. Bow the head to honor and acknowledge your heart and spirit, as well as everyone around you. Bring the head back up, blink open the eyes. Namaste. Thanks, everyone. Hope that was a good practice for you and you feel energized and ready for the day.